Good day, everyone. Welcome to Real Conservative News. I'm your host, Nathaniel Rajkumar. Here are today's headlines. Organizers of this year's Tobago Carnival are banning Trinibad artists who glorify violence and gang culture from performing, following recommendations from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service aimed at keeping the festival safe. Yes, you want to feature yourself in these events? Stop glorifying violence. Stop inciting violence. Stop encouraging people to commit criminal acts. That's what you all need to stop doing. Guyanese President Dr. Irfan Ali says any government action regarding the MV Barima tragedy will depend entirely on the Independent Commission of Inquiry, which is set to begin its work in early September. But we all know what's going on already. The captain should be held accountable, of course, and whichever amount of crew members that he has. A U.S. federal judge has lifted a hold allowing the termination of temporary protected status for Ethiopian nationals, potentially exposing thousands to deportation as the administration continues rolling back TPS protections. I agree with protecting your borders and stuff like that, but you're also supposed to be focusing on removing and sending back to their countries those that are criminals, have committed very serious crimes, gang members, and so forth. And of course, I will also add this. You can't be bold-faced. You can't be in people's country and bad talking it, and you don't even have residential status there. You're bad talking to people's country and you find them and you saw these kind of statements online. So, okay, pack up your bags and go back home, please. Details in the news up next. Trinidad artists whose music promotes or glorifies gun violence will not be permitted to perform at this year's Tobago Carnival. Now, I'm assuming from what I'm reading there that they're not banning the dancehall music. All they're saying is whatever content you're going to be promoting, make sure it does not glorify violence, gang affiliation, and any other type of criminal activity. You do not want to be encouraging the crowd to end up riling up, as we say here in Trinidad and Tobago, and committing any type of violence. It's the same thing some of these soca artists and them used to do, especially long time. Mash up the place, and at hard times people end up mashing up the place. You understand? It's about your lyrical content. Nothing is wrong with the genre of music. Nothing is wrong with the genre of music. Dancehall music is wonderful. The problem is when you're using that type of music or any type of music to glorify murder, glorify gang affiliation, glorify criminal lifestyles. That is what is wrong. The decision follows a recent safety meeting between the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service and the Tobago Promoters Association, where law enforcement advised event organizers to limit songs that encourage gang activity and aggressive behavior. Don't limit it, prevent it completely. Well, most likely that's what they mean. Senior Superintendent Rodhill Kirk supported the initiative, noting a direct connection between violent lyrics and heightened aggression among partygoers. Of course, that hypes up people in a negative way instead of a positive way. People refuse to acknowledge the fact that music carries a spirit behind it. It could either inspire you to do good or evil. That is the reality. The Tobago Promoters Association agreed to implement the recommendation to ensure the festival remains safe, positive, and family-friendly. I love this. Good news from the TTPS, which is amazing. They're actually doing something good. Kevon McKenna, head of the association, explained that promoters are working closely with local authorities to keep the island celebrations peaceful. You better do that here in Trinidad too, eh? All right. Under the new guidelines, promoters will instruct participating DJs and event coordinators to filter out songs containing violent or gang-related content. Hey, I feel so happy in such a long time. Once again, I have nothing against the artists themselves. A lot of them are really talented. What you need to do is stop glorifying criminal behavior and criminal lifestyles. You all are blessed with talent, people. A lot of those rhythms are really nice. But when you listen to the lyrics, it's like, my goodness, no, I just cannot encourage it. It promotes and glorifies murder and a lot of other different types of illegal activities. It is just wrong. It indoctrinates, it is indoctrinating an entire generations actually, into embracing a lifestyle of crime. That is not entertainment, people. It is indoctrination. Local performers, including soca titans like Jaheim vs. Thomas, have also publicly voiced support for the measure, emphasizing the need for music that eases stress and builds a positive atmosphere. And I hope you are listening to me carefully. I said it. Soca artists are used to be making a similar mistake in the past, mash up the place. Why would you say mash up the place? Now, people knew it was figurative, but a lot of the party goers did not take it figuratively. They actually considered it to be something to actually do, and they went and started to mash up the people's place. Madness. But that's why you're not supposed to be inciting that type of behavior in the first place. The crackdown comes amid broader regional concerns over the impact of Trinidad music, dancehall music. Let me put aside the Trinidad, because Trinidad is just a version of dancehall. Dancehall music on youth culture and crime, because Trinidad music is not, growing in other countries, but it's dancehall. We just call it Trinidad because it is here in Trinidad, right? But it's dancehall music. While community leaders and religious figures have applauded the ban, some advocate taking the measure further by restricting violent music on public radio broadcasts year-round. Exactly. I've been saying that for a very long time now. The DJs or wheel selector run the tune again. These songs, even though it's censored, that glorify violent lifestyles and criminal lifestyles, they should be held accountable for their actions. It is wrong what is taking place. These artists, as I said before, are very talented. Use it for a good purpose. Use it to spread a good message. But while you believe in your mind, the good messages don't sell. Well, if it is everybody focuses on sending a good message outside there, even party messages, I'm not telling you to only have inspirational songs, right? You have your party music and whatsoever, but you do not need to be glorifying murder, glorifying turf wars, glorifying drug use. You should not be doing that. Use your talent in a better way. There are artists that don't glorify these type of criminal lifestyles, do not glorify gang culture, and yet they prosper as well. Look at Chronics and these kind of guys. Taurus Riley, Jack, come now, man. Following last year's incident-free festival, law enforcement and event organizers aim to maintain a strong security presence and set a peaceful tone as festivities get underway. My response, even though I already gave one here, my response, this is the first good decision made by the waste of time TTPS, which needs reforming, in a long time. Glorification of murder, turf wars, and drugs should be banned from our airwaves. Those vindictive and greedy DJs who wheel select and run the tune again only care about popularity, but don't realize that they're poisoning, literally poisoning the minds of entire generations. An entire generation of angry people that just want to join gangs. The youths and them leaving school on a evening and looking for fights. This isn't entertainment, as I said before. It's indoctrination, my dear people.
Trinidad and Tobago weather report for Thursday, August 20, 2026. The weather forecast for Trinidad and Tobago on Thursday, August 20, 2026 indicates partly cloudy to occasionally cloudy conditions with a high of 31 degrees Celsius and a low of 25 degrees Celsius. The Trinidad and Tobago Meteorological Service reports a mild presence of Saharan dust making the atmosphere slightly hazy, alongside a few intervals of showers and potential afternoon scattered thunderstorms. Marine and atmospheric details. Saharan dust, a mild concentration is present and sensitive individuals should take necessary precautions when outdoors. Wind, east to southeasterly winds pushing at 5 to 35 km per hour. Seas, slight to moderate conditions in open waters with wave heights from 1.0 meters to 1.5 meters. Sheltered areas will remain below 1.0 meters, though they may become temporarily choppy near heavy downpours. Precautionary note: in the event of heavy localized downpours, gusty winds and street or flash flooding are possible.
Regional news now. President Dr. Irfan Ali told reporters on Tuesday that an independent commission of inquiry into the MV Barima tragedy will determine any subsequent action taken by his administration. The thing about it is, you can't be monitoring every vessel, whether it's on the seas or in a river whatsoever. If people break the law, they should be held accountable. That captain, okay, maybe it should have had people there supervising to ensure that the vessel wasn't overloaded or whatsoever. But still, the main person that's supposed to be held accountable for that is the captain and, of course, his crew members or member. Not sure how many. The president stressed the critical need to allow the COI to carry out a thoroughly transparent and impartial investigation without interference, firmly stating that he would not prejudice its work or preempt its findings. Updating the media on the timeline, President Ali added that the COI is currently finalizing its operational procedures and is expected to begin its on-the-ground work in early September. Reaffirming his administration's commitment to those impacted by the incident, he further assured the affected families that the government's primary focus and priority remain their overall welfare and support throughout the inquiry process. A really good leader. I hope that Guyanese don't ever make the mistake of voting against this man in the future, as long as he decides to continue being the leader of the PPP Civic Party. Of course, whoever takes over from him, continue to vote for that political party, though. International news now. A federal judge just cleared the way for the Trump administration to end deportation protections for Ethiopian migrants. The Boston judge lifted a hold on the decades-old temporary protected status program after DHS determined conditions in Ethiopia had improved enough to end the protections. Oh, so it's safe to go back home. So you can't say you're a refugee anymore. The ruling means Ethiopian nationals covered by TPS could now lose their ability to legally live and work in the U.S. Also, the latest win for the administration's TPS rollback after the Supreme Court allowed similar moves involving Haiti and Syria. Now, the thing about it is, before I give my online comment, I don't agree with mass deportation. Sorry. And of course, my conservative friends and viewers will disagree with me. I believe in protecting your borders. I believe in deporting criminals, dangerous criminals. And I will add this one. And of course, the left people will not agree with this at all. I'm a conservative anyway, you take it. I'm just that extreme like some conservatives, but I'm a Christian conservative. I believe, the individuals and them who like to be going online and on social media. You're not a legal citizen of America, but you're bad talking them. And you're there only because of the grace and mercy of the country. Tell them, okay, you don't like America, you don't like our culture, pack your bags and go back home. No, simple as that. The UAE just severed all trade and financial transactions with Iran. I wonder if mainstream media here in Trinidad and Tobago will report that. Because UAE is considered an Arab nation, right? And yet they severed ties with Iran. The radical jihadist terrorists controlled Iran. Iranian people are wonderful people from what I've heard. Amr Safati and others say. Persian people most want to be freed from the evil iron fist rule of the Ayatollah and the IRGC. But anyhow, so the UAE just severed all trade and financial transactions with Iran, cutting off an economic artery that U.S. sanctions struggled to reach for years. Dubai supplied 31% of Iran's imports, valued at roughly $21 billion in 2024, and served as Tehran's primary gateway to global commerce. The freeze comes after the UAE accused Iran of firing ballistic missiles toward maritime traffic. Tehran calls baseless. Yeah, right. Yeah. All of a sudden, I didn't do it. It wasn't me. All it turned shaggy all of a sudden, then, it wasn't me. The move deepens Iran's isolation as U.S.-Iran diplomacy has collapsed over the Strait of Hormuz. With Trump declaring no talks are underway or planned and posting a map labeling the waterway new U.S. territory. Well, that's of course that he's just trolling. U.S. not going to take over that territory. You know, a lot of people even here that because CNC3 will take it literally. Yeah? The man just talking. The thing about it is Trump needs to finish the job in Iran. He's only playing games with them instead. And I've said this multiple times and I will close with this again. These ongoing types of diplomatic measures, these types of sanctions and stuff like that, only suffer the citizens of the nation. These radicals, these communists, whether it's in Cuba, whether it's in Iran, they don't care about their citizens. So even though they're going to be even suffering more because of this, right, the decision that the UAE took, they could probably end up remaining in power for many, many years to come while the people of that country suffer. What they need to do, what the UAE needs to do, what the rest of Arab nations need to do, is tell Trump, finish the job in Iran. It's as simple as that.
Psalm 38, 13-16. I am like the deaf, who cannot hear, like the mute, who cannot speak. I have become like one who does not hear, whose mouth can offer no reply. Lord, I wait for you, you will answer, Lord my God. For I said, do not let them gloat or exalt themselves over me when my feet slip.
Folks, that brings us to the end of today's news report. Thanks again to everyone who continues to support my content. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay blessed and stay safe most of all. In Jesus' name.